Hello there, I'm Sanj from Inclusive Magic, and in this video I'm going to build a lightsaber. Far from being a mere movie series, Star Wars is indelibly etched in popular culture, and one of its most recognisable images is of course the lightsaber, the weapon of the Jedi Knight, not as random or clumsy as a blaster, an elegant weapon for a more civilised age. It's one of those things where it'd be really cool if it existed for real, and somebody did try to build one out of a plasma laser.
This beam is really cool. It's actually burning at around 4,000 Fahrenheit, which means it's capable of cutting through a lot of stuff.
Okay, until that pans out safely, maybe fans should stick to replicas. Now, that may take the form of a toy, like this thing that I got when I was 12, or it could be something more akin to what these guys are dueling with. Whether for dueling, cosplaying, or just having this totem of your love for Star Wars, authentic looking and sounding lightsabers are a big deal amongst fans. And there are very skilled people who build them. They're called sabersmiths. These things will set you back hundreds, if not thousands. However, you can build one yourself, and that's what I'm going to do. Well, I say build, but I should say install really, because I have a ready-made hilt here. You will recognize this as Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber, which he had built by the time of Revenge of the Sith. Obi-Wan takes it, gives it to Luke, Luke loses it, and in the sequels, Rey wields this lightsaber. In the expanded universe, of course, Luke gave this to the woman who had become his wife, Mara Jade. The actual design is based on a 1930s camera flash gun called the Graflex. Much to the chagrin of photographers everywhere, the price of those vintage flash guns has gone through the roof.
The sacred Jedi tax!
I want to know what happened to the plans they sent you.
I wanted to use a real Graflex for the saber hilt. The top half is a genuine vintage Graflex, the bottom half and the clamp are replicas. Everything you see here, apart from that vintage Graflex piece, I bought from two British saber manufacturers, KR Sabers and JQ Sabers. There are links below and they're both helpful resources if you want to get into this. Inside the hilt goes a structure to hold all your innards. It's a blade holder and a 3D printed chassis. You've got a battery, which is kind of a vape style battery to power the thing, and then putting the light in lightsaber, the light source is LEDs. Now you can put them in the hilt like a flashlight, or you can put strips of LEDs along your blade. That's what's called a neopixel design. It's brighter and it gives you more effects, but it's more expensive and it's harder to wire. So I just went for the standard in-hilt design here, and I gotta tell you, it's still pretty bright. The sound comes from the speaker, and then you've got the brains of your saber, the soundboard. Soundboard? I guess that's because I am. There's a variety of popular soundboards. The Profi, the Crystal Focus X, the Nano Biscotti are names you might hear if you dive into this. I've gone for the Verso soundboard made by KR Sabers. It's a good beginner's board, it's easier to wire, easier to program, and they just updated the firmware so you can get a ton of different sound fonts on it. What's a sound font? Why, it's the sounds your lightsaber makes. Sure, you noticed they don't all sound the same. And the first thing I've got to do is empty the vintage photographic innards of this Graflex so I can put a blade holder in. That means taking this collector's item and putting a hammer to it. I'd like to not destroy it. That's totally... Okay, and it's out. Yes. Bunny ears. They slip out. Now should just pop out. Great, the blade holder fits in nicely. It's time to start soldering. I haven't soldered in 20 years. All that I know, I learned from Mr. Peary at Brian Lee's high school in Nantwich. Now, I lost the footage of this LED soldering and all I have to show for it are these photos. I did do it myself, honest. So here it is, positive and negative wires to each of the LEDs. So I've soldered the connections onto my LED and I've attached it to this copper heatsink. I've also put a lens on top of it. The LEDs go into the blade holder, so I'm going to put these in. This slots nice and easily into the chassis where the soundboard goes. I'm going to wire it according to this diagram, which, as you can see, has been done in the finest crayon. For the red LED, I need to attach a resistor. This is fiddly stuff. In primary school, one of my teachers said, "Who's nimble-fingered here?" And I put my hand up and I said yes. So I don't really know why. I guess I was bored. But it turned out to be cutting out little pieces of paper and sticking them to more paper. I don't know if I can still say I am nimble-fingered. Alright, so I've got my wires ready to be connected to the soundboard, really, and that will sit here and the battery will go here. I'm going to solder the battery terminals first. Okay, I'm ready to solder all these components to the soundboard, but I realised that before I do that, I have to put this blade holder through here. And before I do that, I thought I would test out the LEDs to make sure that they work. And this should give us some red light. See what happens. Okay. Yep, that's definitely working. This will give us green, my favourite colour. Yep, okay. And last but not least, the colour that really this lightsaber by default ought to have, blue. Okay.
It's working! It's working!
I am about to solder all of these connections to the soundboard. Yikes, this is the most exciting / scary / important part of this process. Let's get down to it. That's going to be speaker positive. Am I holding this the right way? There. Verso. No. There. Alright, there we go. You can see very clearly from this beautifully filmed shot that I am soldering this terminal. If you can't see it clearly, that's a problem with your eyes and you should get them checked. Wow. Something I didn't expect is that stripping wires is so hard. I tried this weird tool. I tried a Stanley knife. It works sometimes, but not always. Oh, I hate this! Stripping wires is a real pain in the ass, and I didn't want to buy a wire stripper.
But in the end he did.
Now, I don't know because my hand is blocking the soldering iron, but I think I'm soldering something here. You can see the fumes. Next, I solder a switch. Great, so I've got a bunch of these wires done, the switch and the negative LED wires. Ow. I burnt myself. Be careful. This is the positive battery wire and switch combined. That's everything but the speaker. Slight problem here. Before wire stripping became the bane of my life, I did solder the positive speaker terminal, and I had to remove it, but there's still solder in the hole. So I tried to get that solder out here, but it doesn't go as planned. Oh no. That is not what I expected. I may have burned off the speaker terminal. My only option is to solder this wire directly onto the SD card reader. Okay, hopefully this will do the job.
Hold on to your butts.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi yet.
This is where the fun begins.
Your skills are complete.
That's very kind of you to say, but I'm not sure it's true, because I didn't actually make the metal hilt of this saber myself. But if you want to see someone actually make stuff out of metal, check out my bro Dell's video where he forges a sword. Well, that's all for now. If you've enjoyed this, please hit like and subscribe. Coming soon will be a video that explains this poster you always see behind me, and a video where I set out the case for Star Wars Episode 10. If you've not seen my previous video, check it out, and until next time, stay safe and keep sharing your magic.